Just being in small business, I guess you'll appreciate some of the things that we're going to talk about. I just want to start by relating 4 interesting stories that perhaps set the scene for the product that we've developed called Systemize It. Several years ago, one of our clients imported a new CNC pan brake machine, and when it was here in Australia, the guy was sent over from Australia to be trained in Switzerland. A lot of money, a lot of expense. When he got back, it was only a matter of days, he actually passed away. So the company had the repayments on that machine and no way of making it productive. There was another client of ours that had a harvest aid machine down in the valley. A manufacturer, he sold it, and the people that bought it had backpackers working on it, stuck a hand in where it shouldn't have been, took the hand off, and Workplace Health and Safety were investigating, and when they got there they said, "Where's the operator's manual?" And the farmer lied and said, "Well, we don't have one." Well, he had no way of proving that he had, and so the last I heard there was an $80,000 fine for the farmer and an $80,000 fine for the manufacturer, and they were in court, and I think the bill was up to $400,000, so that's significant. There was another guy we knew who had a very small business, had a heart condition. Doctors told him he should have a less stressful job. Tried to sell the business. When he went to sell it, he was unable to sell it because there was no systems in place that were written down. So the only offer that was on the table was a South African who said he would buy it provided the guy worked with him for 2 years. Well, that wasn't going to solve his health problem, was it? You know, and obviously that was a huge loss to that family. And then the fourth one was a large family where the patriarch died, and when the banks came in to see whether they would extend further credit, they decided there was too much intellectual property in his head, and that the rest of the family probably couldn't even cope with carrying on. So that obviously was a major problem for that family and that business. So that sort of sets the scene from my side of it. I guess you'd relate to some of those things, you being in business yourself. And I think the thing that is most impressionable in my mind is the little value we put on the most precious of commodities, and that's time. So what I want to talk about today, Robert Louis Stevenson, who developed the steam engine, so therefore probably the father of the Industrial Revolution, he said perpetual devotion to what a man calls his business is only to be sustained by perpetual neglect of many other things. And I think that's borne out in the lives of so many people in small business today. So systems drive everything we do. So 94% of all failures in business are the failure of a system, not the failure of the people, and the people get the blame. Dan Kennedy said all wealth is based on systems, and I think we can all see that, and we'd all agree with that statement. Michael Gerber, one of my favourite business authors, who wrote the book called E-Myth, and that's a bit of a Bible for small business people, says organise around business functions, not people. Build systems within each business function. Let the systems run the business and people run the systems. People come and go, but the systems remain constant. So Systemize It, that I'm going to demonstrate to you today, is basically a system that it allows you not to just employ experts, but more to have an expert system that rewards that team with satisfaction, less stress and more time. So in the 90s we had the QA revolution. Everyone spent a fortune, had a whole heap of procedures written, and they sit up on bookshelves, beautifully sitting on bookshelves, but who reads them? Nobody reads them. With a written procedure, it takes about 8 hours to write a procedure. Would you agree with that, do you think?
Depending what it is, yeah.
Yep. And then something changes, as it invariably does. The government changes the regulation, the product development department do their job and improve it. Then you rewrite the procedure again. And then the real problem with a paper-based system is, how do you know that the people that are using your system have the current version, that they haven't picked up an old version and proceeded to do it with an old version of the QA system? The other thing that's very problematic in business today is training. Now recently we had 12 guys flew into Llewellyn's at Ipswich, and these were 3 days. The training took 3 days. They landed in there. There was 12 of them around a machine that they were being trained on. 6 of them on that side saw everything that side, saw nothing this side. The 6 on this side saw everything this side, nothing the other side. 3 days loss of productivity, airfares and the accommodation. It is a huge impost on business, no doubt at all. But then you find that the training is superseded because the product's been updated, or if it's a few months before they get to use the training, they've forgotten how to do it. Or even worse, these fellas that you've actually spent the money on training, they get poached by another company and then they move on to somebody else. There's got to be a better way. We were a runner-up in the What's Your Big Idea Queensland Awards in 2011, and that's an excerpt of the letter. Point you to this one here. The Queensland Government is proud to support the development of big ideas such as yours that have the potential to inspire and transform Queensland. That's coming from the Queensland Government. So how does Systemize it work? It's a simple 3-step process. Capture, communicate and comply. And all that can happen in under 1 hour. So where we said 8 hours for a written procedure, this is all going to occur in under 1 hour. Step 1 is the wearable camera. And I'd just like to give you a bit of a look at that. That's exactly what it looks like. So
Right.
that's the recorder, and that's worn on the head,
Right.
and that's in a vest, so all cables are tidy. There's also a microphone. Whoever's doing this task can actually record the way they think as they do the process, and that's how you capture all those years of experience. An experienced person looks at the options, picks the one that's most suitable, and explains why that's the most suitable. So you're capturing all that experience plus the point of view, the exact point of view, and he has 2 hands free to do his work so that there is no loss of productivity. Step 2 is a piece of software that we host on your computer, which takes the files from the camera without any brain work on your part, handles them and processes them, puts them up on a cloud server in Sydney. And a secure cloud server, I should add. And then finally, there is management software that allows you to manipulate the whole system up on the cloud server in Sydney. So that's it's a self-managed solution. It allows you to manage the content, the people. The people can be put in groups, and so groups content can be pointed at different groups. Qualifications such as third-party qualifications. You can back up the database from the cloud server to your own server for security of data, and you can download the latest software as well. So in summary, Systemize gives you back time. That's the most important thing. It reduces the cost of doing business immensely. It's easily able to replace at least one wage within a decent sized business and all of those training costs. It improves the performance of your business, and with that is the team morale. Very important. You know, if everybody does things the same way, when someone goes to do the next, they haven't got to think, now all that confusion has been taken out of it, and it allows you to leverage your intellectual property. In other words, if you want to scale your business up and run another branch in Sydney, Melbourne, it can be done because all the IP is in a cloud. So to sort of finish this presentation, Mary, just imagine if you could clone yourself. If in fact you could copy and paste your way, the way you do it, to everybody, would that give you more control of your business?
It would certainly help, yes.
Yeah. Would it allow you to grow your business?
I would assume so.
Do you think it'd give you back more time?
It would give some time back, into the business, yes.
I just come back to the statement we started the presentation on, that perpetual devotion to what a man calls his business is only to be sustained by perpetual neglect of many other things. For each of us, we know what that means. For me, I know that that's meant that I've not had the time that I'd like to contribute to my family. But for others, it's a different thing. So in terms of the cost, I've got some, there's a presentation pack here, and in it you will see the information regarding the different packages. And also just to show you that we actually do production packages as well, so we can actually come in and produce the content for you. Any questions for me at this point?
How does this go over? I'd have to read through this more. You know, if you have more than one site.
Okay, we have there's a basic version. There's a enterprise version which allows you to run it across anywhere in the world.
Okay.
So, and then each site has its own administrator. You, as God writes, are able to push your content to every site, but the local site's also able to add their own content.
Okay, rightio.
Okay.
Yep. Yep, that would be very helpful. And if we've multiple sites, we can then get more cameras.
Yes.
With that, okay, rightio. Yep. I may probably have more questions later, but
Okay. Well, thank you for your time, and you know, if you'd like us to come in and give you the full presentation and show you how the system works, we're happy to do that.
thank you.
Do you think that's something you'd like to do?
I'd like to look into it more. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, look, maybe we can diarise a time that that suits you, and we'll do it then.
Rightio.
Hmm.
Yep.